San Francisco streets have long been alive with stories, and one of the most fascinating is the tradition of moving entire historic homes from one location to another. Although it may sound outlandish to see a grand Victorian rolling down the road, these moves have quietly played an important role in the city's development and preservation efforts for well over a century. Hi everyone, Ken here. Today we're taking a closer look at why these homes were moved. Hit that subscribe button and let's explore this house. This video is brought to you in part by Victorian Society in America. More on them later. The roots of this practice go back to a time when San Francisco was undergoing near constant change. In the late 1800s, the city blossomed around the energy of the gold rush in neighborhoods filled with vibrant styles like Italianates, Second Empire, and Queen Anne. These houses were not merely dwellings, they were hallmarks of a newfound prosperity, each with its own architectural flair, from dramatic mansard roofs to gingerbread trim and picturesque bay windows. By the early 20th century, especially after the 1906 earthquake and fire, whatever remained of these structures became even more cherished. As San Francisco rebuilt itself, it started to develop a dual identity, forward-looking in its embrace of new technology and design, yet reluctant to let go of the architectural gems that had survived devastation. The real challenge came when the city's population swelled and urban development pushed relentlessly ahead. Old homes sat on valuable lots, and developers often wanted to replace them with taller, more modern buildings. Instead of simply tearing down the Victorian-era homes that defined the skyline, homeowners, preservationists, and city officials discovered a practical, though not simple, alternative. Lift these houses off their foundations and move them someplace else. It was a process that demanded creativity, patience, and more than a little bravery. At the heart of moving a house is a choreographed dance of engineering. In the past, specialized crews would start by carefully bracing the building to protect its walls and ornamental details. Using jacks, they would methodically raise the entire structure inch by inch until it's high enough to be placed onto logs and dollies. Some houses, especially those with intricate bay windows or turreted roofs, needed partial disassembly. Decorative trim might be removed, windows packed away for safekeeping, and fragile elements secured so they won't crack or shatter during the journey. In rare cases, the building may be sectioned off into multiple parts, and if it was too large or unwieldy to navigate tight city streets, they would be shipped around the bay on a barge. Once the house is stabilized and resting on a mobile platform, the real spectacle begins. Streets may close for the day, and crews might temporarily remove traffic lights, street signs, or power lines to allow the home to pass. Often the building travels at a pace no faster than walking speed, surrounded by onlookers snapping photos or marveling at the sight of an entire home making its way to a new address. Though the relocation itself may be over in a matter of hours, the planning can take months or even years due to permit requirements, neighborhood approvals, or logistical hurdles. Examples of these moves abound, and one especially memorable modern instance, an 1882 Italianate was taken from its original lot near Franklin Street and painstakingly rolled to a new plot about a half-mile away. Its ornate facade, with slender columns and intricate trim, glided through the streets about 1 mile per hour, trailed by curious residents and local news crews. Even though the modern technology alleviated the need for horses to pull the home, the basic process wasn't much different than how it was done 100 years ago. Similar efforts from the past have preserved even the impressive Queen Anne residences with their circular turrets and elaborate woodwork. Each of these relocations highlights a desire not only to cling to the past, but also to adapt San Francisco's heritage in creative ways that fit modern needs. But why go to all this trouble? Before we answer that question, a quick word from the sponsor of today's video, Victorian Society in America. Are you captivated by historic architecture? Want to explore, learn, and dive even deeper into the past? With the Victorian Society in America, you'll have the chance to travel to American cities and tour stunning 19th century buildings, pursue learning through internationally acclaimed summer programs in American cities and abroad, including Chicago, Newport, and London to name a few. Additionally, members will enjoy a free subscription to 19th Century, the semi-annual publication packed with articles on art, architecture, preservation awards, and book reviews. Visit the website below in the video description and become part of the Victorian Society in America today. Thank you, Victorian Society in America, for sponsoring today's video. Now let's find out why these houses were moved. For some, it was about economics. In certain neighborhoods, land was so valuable that raising and rebuilding might have been considered more straightforward. Yet in many instances, saving a home was more cost-effective if the house was lifted and rolled away in one piece, especially in the aftermath of the 1906 earthquake and fire, when limited labor and materials were going to the highest bidder. Today it's an ethical choice to preserve craftsman quality or artistry from an earlier era. Over decades of architectural evolution, the city's willingness to protect its older structures has set an example for urban preservation initiatives nationwide. Beyond the technical achievements of lugging a house across town, these moves hold a symbolic importance. They show that a city doesn't have to lose its character to make room for progress. In an ever-evolving place like San Francisco, where startups and skyscrapers seem to dominate the headlines, the sight of a Victorian-era structure on wheels serves as a reminder that the past can find a home in the present. And from a purely human perspective, it's hard not to be charmed by the idea that a beloved building, be it a Second Empire, Italianate, or any other style, can pick up its foundation and start anew somewhere else, carrying history along for the ride. And with that, I'll turn it over to you. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments section. I'd also like to say a huge thank you to Victorian Society in America for sponsoring this video. Check out their website in the video description to find out how you can get involved today. As always, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time on This House.